Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. There's a recipe for Cointreau pancakes. So it will soon be Shrove Tuesday, or Fat Tuesday as it's known in the States, and I thought let's do a pancake dish, shall we? What you see me doing here is the beginning of a creme patissiere, or pastry cream in English. That is basically a thickened custard that's going to be served chilled inside a pancake. I'm going to flavour this with Cointreau and some orange, and for this case I've actually got some really lovely blood oranges because they're in season. So separating egg yolks, the liquid that went on to heat up was milk, just milk, no cream, with some vanilla in it. And here is the zest of these wonderful blood oranges going in. That is cornflour, so that's the difference from, say, a regular pouring custard. The cornflour is what is going to thicken this up. You haven't got to work on this for ages, but do try to get it nicely combined. You'll see it soften in any second now, become more paste-like. And by that stage, the milk should have been warmed up nicely. So you're going to see me add that to it now, and I'm going to temper this. So basically don't just chuck it all in one go, because you will scramble those eggs and you can start again. So little drops, especially at the beginning, only a little bit. The liquid, the temperature will temper, and then you can just whack it all in. Tip your elbow up and get that in, and then we're going to get that back into the cleaned pan onto the stove on a very, very low heat, and we're going to cook that out nice and gently. So, bit of research here. What is Shrove Tuesday or Fat Tuesday, or also known as Mardi Gras, which I didn't know Mardi Gras was French for Fat Tuesday, so there you go. So every day is a school day. It is the day before Ash Wednesday, which signifies 40 days of fasting of Lent, which would be what big Jesus did when he went into the desert for 40 days. I'm not a religious type, but I do like traditions, so I think it's really nice to have pancakes on Pancake Day. I believe in some parts of the States, really, it's not just necessarily pancakes, it's a feasting moment, because you're going to be giving up stuff for 40 days, so get it in there. I just don't do the giving up stuff. Yeah, I know. Perhaps I should. Anyway. Stirring very, very gently with I'm using a rubber spatula, vulcanized, but you can just use a flat-bottomed wooden spoon. Just make sure it's not catching, make sure on a low heat, and you can see there, you see it's really bubbling away. Oh, by the way, you saw me chucking some Cointreau a minute ago. Sorry, didn't say. Once it really starts to bubble like that, taste it, make sure it doesn't taste at all floury anymore, that cornflour has been fully cooked out, and then get it cooled down. I like to stir mine as I cool it, so it doesn't sort of get a crust on it. You can just sort of put some cling film on the surface, put it in the fridge overnight, and then try to beat it the next day. Or I saw another little trick recently where you put your metal bowl in the freezer, and then you put it in there. Anyway, this is some cream, which we're going to soft whip to go with it, and the cream had some more Cointreau in it, so this is quite a boozy dessert, by the way, folks. Don't have to use Cointreau, brandy, whiskey, whatever, or no booze at all if you're abstaining for that. And I'm being careful here not to over whisk. You see very, very soft peaks. I'm happy with that. I've got to fold that into this other mixture, so we'll be doing that in a moment when that mixture's cooled down. And by the way, I had that in the sink with some cold water around it. Time to segment these oranges. So first of all, you have to remove the skin. So you top and tail, a nice sharp smooth bladed knife like that. Try to follow the natural curve of the orange all the way around until you have it looking like that, and then just on the inside of the membranes, hopefully you can see that well. I'm going to show you another angle in a minute, and just follow it all the way around like that, just inside the membranes, but don't worry, once we've got all the segments out, we're going to squeeze it and we're going to get all that juice out of this as well, because this wonderful stuff is going to go in an amazing syrup sauce, which is going to be made with caramel and the oranges, and it's just absolutely divine. So here you go again, around the shape, all the way around. There we go. So I first had this dish, well not this dish, because actually this is sort of my creation, but I was working at a very fancy hotel in Bath called the Priory Hotel. And we had on there just a chilled cream pancake dish, which was very nice. And then so I liked the idea, and over the years I've sort of tried to make it mimic the flavours of crêpe Suzette. So hence we've got the orange and the Cointreau, but obviously this isn't served warm. But crêpe Suzette is on the list of things to do, and my friend Eugene is going to come and help me do it because he's an expert at flambé. And here we go, folding in the soft whipped cream into the now chilled creme patissiere. Done with that, get that in the fridge. Time to make some pancakes. And of course you haven't got to do this in the order I'm doing it. You can have your pancakes done beforehand, not a problem. So I'm going for trying to make about 10 to a dozen pancakes, so I find that this recipe works. Obviously, see the recipe in the description. 2 eggs into some flour, and I decided, well, there's a bit of flour too much, so I threw it out the bowl. Whisk that until it's smooth, in with a little bit of the milk, so that makes it easier to get that incorporated. Once you've got that incorporated, you can get the rest in. So I don't know about you, but I actually, when I do pancakes or even Yorkshire puddings on my own when I'm not filming it for YouTube, I never use recipes. I just add eggs and flour together, add some milk in, and it just generally tends to work out. But this is a recipe that, you know, I've tried it, I've measured it, and it does work. So if you're really unsure about that stuff, it should work. I added a little bit of melted butter to it. I'm just going to pass mine through a sieve to try to sort out any lumpy bits, but also there could be some eggshell in there. And what is quite important though is give this time to rest in the fridge after you've made it, because it will thicken up. At the moment it's looking very runny, and I just don't think those pancakes would work. And of course I haven't shown you the first couple of pancakes that came out terribly, so well, I wasn't putting enough batter in. So here's one that came out very nicely. You've got to experiment, haven't you? I think you expect to lose your first couple of pancakes, and they're nice with a bit of maple syrup. And that one I thought, yeah, I got about the right amount of mixture in. I didn't have to patch up any holes. Give it a couple of minutes over a low to medium heat. And this time round doing pancakes, I found my crepe pan. Lovely. Well, you know how to make pancakes, I'm sure, but you know, I'm going to do a little tossy. Go on, flip it. Yeah. And then I just stack those up on a plate, and whilst they're still a little bit warm, I'll cover those and keep them soft until I need them for assembly later on. Or you can obviously just wrap them in cling film and chuck them in the fridge. So pancakes are done, creme patissiere is done. Let's make this syrup that I've built up so much. I like to get my pan super clean, so by having it boiling with some water in it and swirling it around, I know I've got no sort of grease in there. Put it back on to dry out a bit, and this is heavily edited. This is several minutes, first of all, on a sort of a medium heat. Because I'm making quite a lot in one go, I'm being careful with it. If I was making a smaller amount, all you have to do really, I would use like a non-stick frying pan hot, and it's going to be much quicker. But at the beginning I try not to stir too much. Move the sugar around as it starts to melt down the caramel, but if you think it's going to start catching a burning, you're going to have to get in there and stir it like I do. Now this is a syrup sauce, so it's going to be cooking for a while, so I wasn't too worried about it crystallising, and I'm saying that because that's what happened. And that's fine, I meant that to happen. No, so if this happens to you, don't worry about it, because just keep going. Once you add the liquid in the form of the orange, this is going to then turn down, and it's going to simmer and simmer and simmer, and well, you'll see what happens when you add liquid to this. So here at the moment I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to stress any more about those few lumps that haven't dissolved. That's fine. Let's get this liquid stuff in there. So those segments, the whole purpose is they're going to break down. And some more Cointreau, of course. You could use Grand Marnier, you could use triple sec. I like Cointreau. Now, you see that, you think, oh no, it's all gone a bit wrong. But don't worry, just turn the heat down and persevere, keep stirring it, and that will melt. Honest. Several minutes later, and if you're worried that your liquid level has reduced too much and you know it's no longer going to be a syrup and it's going back to a caramel, you can just add some more liquid, even water. That's what it's lost. And there we go, that is this wonderful blood orange syrup done. So let's assemble this pancake, shall we? I decide which side I think looks nicest, then I put it down. That's the presentation side. A few dollops of this just divine creme patissiere. Fold him over like that. You're liking this, aren't you? I can tell. Okay, now, and the syrup doesn't have to be piping hot. It could be warm, can be room temperature. It's absolutely fine. But just yeah, don't be shy. Just give lashings of that over it, and don't worry because you're going to be giving up stuff like this for 40 days, aren't you? I'm not. I can't help it. And here we go. Yeah, let's tuck into this thing. It is soft. It doesn't have much in the way of texture. The pancake's the only thing there. So I was thinking it would be quite nice with some crumbled up biscuits on top, but actually no. It's lovely. And this is me filming with my phone. My lady finishing that off for me. And that is it. Thank you very much for watching Uncle Matt's Cookery Lessons. I hope you really like this. If you're new around here, give us a like and a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video coming really, really soon. Bye.